guys, it's your favorite host Ella, and today we have this dirty filter. You can see how gross it is. The dirty fleece, and you can see how gross it is. Ew, and it smells stinky.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another world of my tank. Luke with Premium Aquatics here. We have two chores to do today. One is going to be replacing a filter fleece on the Klir. It has gone expired. A little quick, lasted about a month. I think it was a little quicker than normal simply because I've been making a lot of adjustments to my water level in the sump down below, and so it sends it moving when it's not necessary. So I think it's been moving a lot more than what it needed to. We're going to change it out. We're going to restart it and see if it gets longer. And obviously as things progress, that's going to change. But we'll see what we get out of this one. So we'll show you putting that on. And then secondly, we're going to swap out my return. I have a product here that's going to replace that and try it out. I'm excited to see what it does for the system. And that is the SeaSwirl. I'm excited to get this on there, mainly because not only will it be the same sort of setup I have, but it's going to be an oscillating return. So now it's not just a one flow out and a little bit of spread of whatever it does. Now it can go back and forth and give me a little bit better flow throughout the entire system. So I'm going to open this up. It's already open. I'm going to take this out, show it, we'll talk to you about it. It's a great option to take a look at. One of the big pluses for SeaSwirls are that it takes away from having to utilize things inside the tank. I'm a huge fan of not having stuff in the tank, taking away from my display. I'm putting a lot of work, I'm putting effort, money, all this into the system to make it look as nice as possible. I don't want a huge power head in here, if I can help it, taking away from that. That's my personal opinion, that's my personal preference. Obviously, if you don't care, that's great. I like as little as possible inside that tank so it doesn't take away from everything else going on. So for me, the SeaSwirl is awesome because it sits out like this does, has a little bit that's inside the tank. It's not going to take away from anything else going on in there. So let's get this opened up. All right, so let's take a look at what we have here in the box. Can I just say, look how nice this tank looks. I absolutely love it. It is pristine clear. The sand has been all cleared up. If you watched the other videos, you know we were dosing the Live Rock Enhance to help take away some of these diatoms and help combat that, as well get this rock nice and seated. One big caveat to this Live Rock Enhance that we didn't really talk about is what it's doing for the rock and what it's doing in the background. If you take a look at this Marco rock, this tank's going on about 2 months now that we've started the setup process, and that rock is as clean as it was day one going in there. Normally by now, and I've worked with that rock and I've worked with other dry rocks before, normally by now I'd see some growth on it as far as diatoms and those sort of algae that are nuisance growing on it just because of the nature of what's going on. So it's really nice. It's kept this tank nice and clean, really helped combat and keep everything at bay. So been really happy with that. You can't probably tell, but the copepod population I've got going on is insane. They are everywhere. I was looking at it this week thinking about what in the world is going on with my tank that I've got it so dirty, the water with specks just flying everywhere. And upon further inspection, it's copepods, 100%. I've got copepods climbing on the glass. I've got it just floating in the water. There's nothing eating them. I tell you what, the first fish or inhabitant that goes in this system is going to be so happy. Let's get down to the box, see what we got going on here, and show you what's inside. So SeaSwirl, it's really simple. There is not a lot of parts to it. Obviously we have our manual. We always want to be reading these. And then we have the main unit. And this is all there is to it. This comes with just this main piece and our 90-degree elbow. Where you put this 90-degree elbow determines where you're going to get your flow. This does a 90-degree spin back and forth. There's 3 colored dots, yellow, blue, and white on both the elbow and on the main piece here. and you'll want to line up the color depending on where you're going to put it. So if you're putting it along the back left, back right, front, whatever, it's going to vary. I'm going to be using the white because I'm actually putting on the back corner right like this. It'll be turned to the left and then oscillate straight and back and forth, back and forth. Let's get this set up. It's pretty straightforward. One thing to keep in mind is when you do make these changes, if you wish it was just a little bit more to the left or to the right or whatever, when you make changes to this bottom piece, unplug it. This motor is going to be running constantly, so you need to make sure that this is not spinning while you're trying to yank this off and put it back on, because you could ruin some of the gearing inside. So you definitely don't want to do that. So always unplug it if you're making any changes to this bottom piece here. I'll get that hooked up and then we'll get this on and we'll take a look at the flow and see how it does for the system. All right, so it is hooked up. It's plumbed. I had to do a little special modifications here. Obviously, I had to do some PVC. I don't have long enough tubing to be able to reach it all the way up here, so I took a little PVC and some elbow I had from my other jobs and hooked that up. So it's all plumbed up. This piece, if I tried to, it really pulled hard on the back. So if you're using soft tubing, vinyl tubing, you're going to want to be a little bit careful with the plumbing, as if you cut this tubing too short for it, it will pull back and then will tilt the whole unit up. My tank is pushed back pretty close to the wall, so I was able to put the tubing and basically pin it between both the tank and the wall, and so it's not going to be coming loose or anything like that, and it relieves that pressure. So now it's set up. This unit is the 1-inch. It can handle up to 1,150 gallons per hour, so it can handle quite a bit more than what I've got going through the system anyway, so I'm good with that. We have the elbow here. I'll take you off the tripod, put on my waterproofing, and get under here so you can see it rotate, but we have 90 degrees that we're rotating. If you don't want it on the back right corner, then obviously all you have to do is take that elbow off and then match up the color to one of the other colors, so you can put it on the very back here if you want to, on the back right, on the back left. So there's a lot of different options, and you can adjust that elbow accordingly so you get whatever flow pattern you want out of the unit. It's really nice, actually. I was very surprised. I was really scared when the flow was pointing towards the front here that all it was going to do was going to hit this panel really hard, shoot straight down, and blow my sand everywhere. And surprisingly enough, to me, it didn't do it. So I'm very happy with, because that was what I was worried about with this unit, and it's not doing it whatsoever. So I've got a lot of great flow that pans all over this side right here, back to the back, and then I got the Ecotech that's going to be coming this way. So the flow in this tank is phenomenal, and should really combat any dead spots that we have going on in here, because obviously that's what we're looking to do, is to take away any dead spots that are back behind the rock, below the rock, in between all these crevices here. Doesn't have to be shooting at full blast, 700 gallons per hour at every nook and cranny, but we want enough flow to where any detritus, fish waste, excess food, and we want them to get pushed, either forward or to the back, to where they can get to a main stream of water and then get lifted up into the water column and hopefully filtered back out and going down to the sump. Let's now go to the bottom of the tank, get out that Klir, get this fleece changed out, and we'll see how easy it is. This is the worst part of having a fleece roller, is you got to change that out once a month, once every other month, depending on how your bio load is. But I think it should be fairly simple, and it's a lot better than having to do socks every few days. So thumbs up for me. So let's go to that. Come on.
Alright guys, it's your favorite host Ella, and today we have the dirty fleece, and you can see how gross it is. Ew, and it smells stinky. Alright guys, so we got the little plastic insert here, and then we're just going to put that in there. Got that. And if you remember from our last video, when we hooked this up on the outside and rolled on the top. Now we'll get this thread through, and we'll see you guys when we hook this up. Alright guys, we got the fleece all put together. Now we just need to put the lid on, and we'll insert it back in the tank. Alright, so this. And bam, it's all good to go. Let's get it back in the tank now.
All right, guys. Hopefully you were able to follow through with that. Again, we just did what we did in the first video when we set this up. So if you need to know a little bit more in depth how to do that, go back to check out the other video. It'll show a little bit more in depth of what's going on with this unit. So by all means, go check it out again. It can't hurt. But Ella got it all squared away, so we're going to get this back into the aquarium. The one thing I do suggest when you're getting it set up, the wires that come with these units, make sure they're accessible to be able to pull them out. Because when you change this out, you need to be able to have the motor next to you to put that spindle back on, that where all the waste fleece goes. You need to be able to have that beside you. And then, to me, I don't want to keep taking this optical sensor on and off every time I change this out. They give you a nice and long cord, so make sure you don't bind these up to where you're not going to be able to get them out later. So this was, because I can pull it this far out, makes it really nice. I just unhooked the controller so it could pull a little bit further. Makes it so much easier to change this out. Let's get this back into the aquarium. All right, guys, that is going to be it for us. We're going to get out of here. Have a great weekend. Hopefully, you can go check out the SeaSwirls. There'll be a link in the description below. As always, check that out. If you didn't see the video for the Klir, go check that out. And then go and check out the Klir on their website. We greatly appreciate you stopping by. Don't forget
to make sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, and make sure to give it a huge thumbs up.
You heard it. You guys have a great weekend. We'll see you next round.